So I've got a part here that I picked up at the junkyard, and it's not just this bracket, it's this whole grill and hood setup for a Renegade Jeep. And so I'm going to swap it onto mine because I like the aesthetics of that hood better. And this is a bracket that holds one of the fog lights on that particular Renegade. So I was only able to get one of them out because it was kind of rusty, and I broke the Torx bit trying to get this to come out, and I didn't want to pay them for junky lights. So I got one bracket to go with it, and this is for the driver's side or passenger side, I'm not sure which. But the other one's an exact mirror. So what I'm going to do is make a duplicate of this, because I need one and I don't have it. And then I'm going to cut it out on the plasma table there. So I'm going to give this a try. I could measure this and try to model it out. I think I'm going to start by getting a piece of paper and kind of tracing it so I get a flat outline of it. And then I'll sketch it up and see about cutting it out and bending it. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, here's what I've done. I clamped on this piece of paper. I've sketched around. Hey, spider. Okay. I've traced around the outside there. It shifted a little bit since I took it off. But now I've kind of got an outline of it. So it's going to help me out in trying to draw this a little bit. I'll probably also use my calipers a bit and measure some things. But I think having that two-dimensional sketch is going to help a little bit in doing this. So let me get that paper off and go take an image. Alright, there's my flat two-dimensional trace. I've got that drawn out here. And what I did for this is I went and I scanned this on my printer, and I imported the image. So you can see that that outline there is what I scanned, and it's kind of difficult to scale it. So what I did is I got it to approximately the right size. Then I sketched over it, and then I scaled my sketch based off of some dimensions that I've been measuring with my calipers here. And so from that, I've got this thing done up. You can see it's pretty close to what I sketched out. Not quite sure about the overall size of it, so I'm going to do a little test here and see if I can get this to cut out on a piece of paper, and I'll check and see how close the paper matches my actual metal bracket and see what I need to tweak. Alright, I just went and did a test cut, test print. I put a pen in the tool holder and ran it around. Now I'm comparing it to the trace, and this side looks pretty good. You can see it's just a hair smaller than the pin trace, which I kind of would expect, but I'm off a little bit here. So looking at that, I've measured it, and I think I need to add about 7 millimeters into this middle section. And I need to fix that little feature, whatever it is. I somehow screwed that up. I need to update that. But otherwise, dimensionally, I think I'm doing pretty good. It's just wound up a little bit shorter. So I'm going to stretch it and then add back in the holes for cut, and then do another trace on the paper and see how it compares. Alright, so here's the new piece that I just ran through. You can actually see the tool path here, how it cut, and went around. Anyways, so there's my trace that I had. Here's my previous version. If you can see, if I line it up where it was, see that it's a little bit longer now. And if I line up this one, see those line up pretty good. So I'm gonna cut this one out and then lay it over on this, and then I'll lay it over on my bracket there. Alright, here's my part. Here's my paper overlapping it. See, I wound up a little bit wider, having to hold it with my hand here. And overall, it looks like your print came pretty close, so I think I can deal with that in terms of a reproduction. We'll see how easily this wants to bend. Get a little better light for you there. I'm just trying to hold it on. So that's pretty close. I think that's doable. Better than I would have done trying to trace it on a piece of paper and then mark and cut with a cutoff wheel, that's for sure. So I think I'm going to go fire up the plasma cutter now and see how that looks. Alright, here's my cut part. Not too bad. There's a lot of splatter right there. I forgot to put the ground clamp over there. I forgot to put that on when I first fired it, so that was kind of messy, and I stopped it, and it had already cut out these holes before I realized what was going on, so these are a little not the best holes. And then you can see where it did a single pass on the outside. It's pretty clean, so it did what I want it to. I'm not going to cut it again just because this is not a super critical piece, and it'll be alright, and I didn't want to waste metal, really. So there it is, cut out. And let me try to give this a couple of bends opposite of the one I have and see how close it looks. This is the final bracket bent up. Turned out pretty good. If you can see, my bend got a little off my bend line there, unfortunately. As I was actually prying and bending this over, my pliers kind of gripped and actually kind of pulled it out as I was bending it, so I ended up bending it in the wrong spot. So you can see that's a little off. I don't know if I should try to pound that flat and rebend it, or if it'll line up okay if I leave it there. But otherwise it turned out pretty good. Reasonable duplicate. I think I got the overall dimensions pretty good. I think I could do a little bit better job bending it and getting that kind of lined up a little bit more precise, but let me do that. But I think it turned out pretty good. Gotta go test fit it and see how it works on the Jeep, but not too bad of a little project to do. This is definitely an interesting process to try to copy something, and I guess I've got at least the print if I ever need to make another.